We're very excited to announce our next speaker, Antonio Rodriguez, who will be presenting the topic, the project economy, strategy, implementation. Antonio is an author of the Harvard Business Review Project Management Handbook, the featured HBR article, The Project Economy Has Arrived, and 4 other books. Antonio is the investor of concepts such as the Project Economy and the Project Manifesto. His research and global impact on modern management have been recognized by Thinkers 50. Fellow and former chairman of the Project Management Institute. He is the founder of Project & Co., a strategy implementation institute, and a member of Marshall Goldsmith 100 Coaches. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Antonio.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank PMI KSA for the invitation. I want to thank Engineer Vassar for inviting me to be here. Everybody who's participating. I always talk when I'm speaking outside KSA about KSA because you are an example of what means setting a vision for a country, but not just setting a vision for a country, but exciting the citizens, make them part of the journey, and you don't find that very often around the world. So it's a pleasure to be here because I'm learning, and I will be sure to talk more about what you're doing here around my contacts and so on. Let me just share some slides I prepared to introduce you to the concept of the project economy, but also I think about the disruption of, I need to point here, I think, yeah. So let me go back one slide. So these are clients which are struggling today with projects. This is very unusual because 10 years ago, you would get a call from a project manager saying, listen, I have a problem with my project. 5 years ago, you would have a call from a program director or a project management office. Listen, I have a problem with my PMO. Today, what you have is calls from senior leaders, chief transformation officers, CEOs saying, listen, I have a problem implementing my strategy. I don't know how to manage so many projects. So I think there has been a huge evolution in the importance of projects, thanks to PMI, thanks to other people who are preaching the importance of project management, how important it is for organizations, private, non-private, to deliver their visions, their strategies. So this is just companies I'm helping a little bit together with advisors as well. So the project economy is something that it's one of the biggest disruptions that we've ever seen because it changes the way work is done. Traditionally, work has been focused on operational activities. That's the blue part. That's where most of the resources were dedicated. Projects were a nice addition, something temporary. Just a few fraction of employees will work on that. Over the years, we've become better in automation, in operations, so you need less resources. But the big disruption happens when artificial intelligence and robots take part, a big chunk of operational activities. Then you don't need people there. Employees don't work in operational activities anymore. It's all done by machines and AI. So what happens is that the future of work is project-based, is agile teams. This is new because over the last 40 years, every time you were talking a project or program or portfolio, you were targeting just a fraction, 5% of the employees in an organization. These people will be trained. You will train the project managers, the PMOs. Today, you need to train 80% of the staff. All these people need to learn these skills. And this is great for us. I think you saw the companies I was talking, is training everybody, not just the project managers. I think the project managers will need to evolve radically, but I think what it makes great our time today is that everybody needs to learn project management, change management, agile methods. So that's a bit the scene. huge changes, huge disruptions, the role of the chief operating officer. That doesn't exist anymore. We don't need that. We need a new role called chief project officer, which is a step above the chief program officer or PMO head. I think the job descriptions, we don't need them anymore. They're things of the past. The role of the PMO has to evolve radically as well. This is a big change for PMOs. Second point is the importance of prioritization. In a world where you have 1,000, one of the big clients I'm working, they have 1,200 strategic initiatives. I asked the CEO, which one is the most important? Said, all of them are very important. How can you prioritize? How can you make sure that everybody understands what are the priorities of the organization? It's very difficult. This is very new also. Project managers are used to deliver deliverables. I think the modern project manager, needs to deliver revenues and benefits. That's the main thing, and it's a big thing because we're not used to that. We always think that somebody else needs to deliver the benefits. I think today we need to change that. Competencies. I think despite this project economy where you see so many projects, every research you read, the performance in projects is not very high. Around 35% of the projects succeed. Mega projects do. 65 fail. And that made me think, how is that possible? How can we in a profession accept that? This is not acceptable. There's not many profession that has such a high rate of failure. And there's many ways to look at failure in projects, so I'm not going into that, but if there's something that we need to change in this profession is to double the success rate, to do projects better, to deliver more value. And I would love to see research in 5 years saying we've doubled the performance in projects. That's what the world is needing. But you look everywhere, research from Harvard, from McKinsey, from PwC, it's just not very high. If you look at the reasons for failure, I group them like this. There's 1/3 of the reasons for failure related to the project manager, the methods, and so on, but there's 1/3 of failures because senior executives are not prepared to this world which changes all the time, which is managed by projects. They're not ready. And we always knew the important role of the executive sponsor, but in my 25 years as a project manager or project director, I've always waited for the sponsor to get trained. I always wish the sponsor will know what they know to do to make me help in my project. And I think project managers today have to stop wishing that the sponsor gets trained. I think it's part of our task today to do the project management, but pull the executive, coach the executive, tell the executive, listen, I need you in my project, otherwise this is not going to work. I need you to sponsor my project, I need you to be active. And senior leaders can also influence the structure, the agility of the organization. So I think it's a different dimension that we need to address when we're managing a project. We cannot hope or wait that the sponsors do their job. We need to make them do their job. And this is empowering us, this is changing our mindset. A couple of more points. I think we talk about corruption everywhere, healthcare, sustainability, but we don't talk about disruption in project management. And I think we need to think a bit deeper on how can we disrupt project management. It's not normal that we don't talk about big disruption here. So let me just quickly show 3 areas where I think we can disrupt it. The way we measure, the project life cycle, and then how we look at projects in a more simple way. Let me give you an example. I've researched thousands of projects for the books and so on. One of the characteristics that came often was this type of projects. Was a project scheduled for 4 years. It was costing 7 million in the budget. It took a little bit more than 4 years, 14 years. It cost a little bit more than 7 millions. It took 102. So from a project management perspective, this is a disaster of a project. You should have stopped it. You should have not continued this project. You should have fired the project manager, right? Well, this project is the Sydney Opera House. So if we're saying this project was badly managed, we need to think differently. We need to address other elements. Yes, there were challenges, maybe we didn't meet the time and the cost, but the benefit generated by a project like this, it just in 1 year recover all the millions lost, even more. So I think we miss a very strong component when we look at projects. Of course, the triple constraint is key and will continue to be key, but it's not most of the time what impacts, right? And so I think the benefit side, and Dr. Sadi is an expert on that, is so fundamental that we've not taken into account. And it's the key driver. If a project is successful, it's because of the benefits. It's not because of the triple constraint. It's the benefits that determine if a project is successful, yes or no. The sustainability, we've been talking about that. It's an integral part, like Jennifer was saying, should be part of project management. Joe, the same part, and I'm glad PMI is moving into that space. And the third leg we're missing completely is the people. The most successful projects in history had 100% engagement of staff, employees. What you see in Saudi Arabia today, citizens are proud of talking about their projects, they're proud of contributing. Where do we talk about people inner methods? Where is it? If you don't have that, your project will fail. So we're missing two big dimensions. You can do your triple constraint right and perfect, but if you miss the people, the engagement, and the benefit, that project will fail for sure, 100%. So just quickly going on the way we use the tools, I think Jennifer was talking that, the amount of tools we had, the worst battles in project management for 20 years, where we talk about agile versus waterfall. And this has been destructive. This has loosened credibility among senior leaders because it was useless fight. In a big transformation program, you need both. You need methodologies around agility. You need methodologies around traditional project management. You need PMO. You need also design thinking. You also need Lean Startup. You need Six Sigma. Why have we put silos around this? Why did we have to choose when that's the worst thing you can do? Try to do a digital transformation project with agile methods. Is failure 100%? 100%. Try to do it with just project management. Failure 100%. So for me, the project management, the competencies that organizations, either private, public, need to build, it's this spectrum. You don't need to be an expert on everything, but know when to use which tools. And just a couple of examples and finish. This is a hospital in Brussels, Belgium. They started from scratch, state-of-the-art. Construction started in 2016, completion 2020. 4 years to complete a new hospital, high-tech. My surprise, I drive through this place regularly. In 2018, there was a celebration with balloons. 2018, I say, how is that possible? The project finished in 2020. They opened the hospital before it was finished. So the ground floor, the first floor, the second floor was operational. They had patients, babies were delivered. And I said, wow, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor, they were still constructing. 2 buildings, the same building. That made me think every project should be driven by the benefits. How fast can we start in it? Maybe not everything. You can do it with a website, but you can also do it with any kind of projects. We're not used to that because we plan for having it perfect and then open. That's a big mindset change. Is how can we deliver the benefits faster? 2, 3 more slides. So that's the traditional project management life cycle. What happens in innovation, we don't know. It's not part of our scope. We just do the white part. We don't know what happens after with the project in the run. And benefits, we talk slightly, we have a couple of KPIs. That's it, 95% is on initiation, planning, implementation, and closing. My view is that it's going to be disrupted by 80%. 80% is going to be disrupted here. And my slide just disappeared. So how is it going to be disrupted? I think the project managers have to play a role in innovation. It was mentioned by by different speakers today. It's the essence. I think if we don't play a role, if we're not facilitators, if we're not referees of which ideas are good to be carried out as projects, which ideas are good to be more as a lean startup process, then that will continue with the failure rates. I think we'll keep doing the standard part, the initiation, planning, implementation. The good news is that we're going to talk about that there is technology coming on. There's very few professions that has not embraced technology as project management. We still use 40 years old systems to manage projects. Where is the disruption? Where is artificial intelligence? The good news is that there's artificial intelligence in the whole thing. There's big data in the whole. It's coming, it's going to be great for us. We're going to stop doing administrative work, reporting, issue, risk. This is going to be done by machines. And the run sometimes will do what we build, what we do, and the benefits is the core. My vision is that we'll not have project plans with deliverables. We'll have them for us. My vision is we just have project plans with benefits. When are we going to get this? When are we going to get that for you customer, for you stakeholder? And then the other question, can we do it faster? What do you need to make it faster? 2030 targets for sustainability. Can we do that in 2025? What do you need to do that? Okay, so big game change for us in the profession too. A couple of more, and then just the last part. Most of the, and this is, I struggled for 25 years to make senior leaders understand what I do as a professional. What is a project? What methodologies we use? And I know you are all very well educated in business and management theories. The most successful theories in management are very simple. This one is from Michael Porter. It's called the 5 Forces. It's more than 50 years old. Everybody can use it. You don't need a PhD, you don't need anything. You can do it with your team. If you talk about marketing, you have Philip Kotler. Just 7 P's, you can do it. Nobody needs to do a full training. You can apply and talk marketing with your team. If you look at business model, good friends of mine, Alex Osterveld, Ipignon, developed the 9 boxes here to do a business model analysis. If you look at Agile, it was super simple. But what is simple in project management? Do you know a simple framework? Do you know any simple thing that everybody can understand in 5 minutes? Anybody knows that? No, in project management we have great technical stuff, great, it's the best, but we miss that layer to connect to everybody around us. Nobody's going to start reading a 10-page document, 20-page document. So, inspired by Alex, and I created the project canvas, which in like 20 minutes everybody can understand the 14 elements that make a project succeed. I'm not going to go into this, there's a lot of work on this, but it's just an example. I'm not saying this is the one that should be used. I revamped it for HBR book with a little less boxes, but in 20 minutes you can have a good discussion. You don't need a 20-page report to look at the status of your project and discuss what are the key elements. Here's an example how it looks. If you compare 2 projects, one is the homecare.gov platform in the US. The bottom is how they developed the COVID vaccine. A very kind of risky project on the top that failed, a super successful project, just so simple. So we need to be simple. We need to keep what we have, but to communicate with stakeholders, to create engagement with senior leaders, with teams, we need simplification, because that's you get buy-in and alignment and you can go faster. And the last thing they tell me, how do you see project management in 2030? So I think there's an evolution, just a kind of synonym of how I see it. We used to have maps in paper, right? I don't know if you all remember when you were traveling. You were getting lost almost every time. Then we moved into GPS. That helped a lot. My screen went out. And then you have self-driving cars. So I think projects will evolve in that direction. Unfortunately, we're still very much in the paper maps. Okay, so there's going to be radical disruption in this space, for sure, for sure. And the last thing, I think you got it here. I think project management is more than just a methodology. Projects is a strategic tool. Projects are benefits per se. And you got it right here in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. I love to talk about this because you do so well with the Vision 2030. It's just to get people excited around the project, a vision, and ambitious. And you will be surprised how many organizations don't have that. So I don't think there's more exciting part in a company, in a career, than working in an exciting project with an ambitious goal. And you got that here. And when I talk in project management conferences, if there's one thing we need to change in this profession, it's just double the success rate. I love to see results in 5 years from McKinsey, from Harvard saying, well, we've doubled the success rate in projects. That would generate, just by doing projects better, 14 trillion US dollar of benefits. If we do that, and again, I think that's the biggest part where we could do the biggest impact. And with that, thank you very much. I hope to connect with you later. Thank you.
Thank you, indeed. Thank you, Antonio. And ladies and gentlemen, we invite you now for lunch, which is served in a whole hour. Our hosts will guide you there 1 hour. Thank you. See you in 1 hour.